Hello everyone. So for the topic of today's seminar is how to effectively use e-resources in learning and teaching. First of all, I would like to clarify that most of the content of today's seminar is not from me, it's from these honorable speakers, and they relate to how I organize the information differently. The first one is Sir Ken Robinson. I've read several of his books and watched his TED Talks. And he's an English author, speaker, and an international advisor on education. So he advocates that education should unleash students' potential and to nurture their creativity. Another person is Dr. Paul Z, and I know him in person, and we've discussed on e-learning and education matters. So he inspired me how to implement e-learning resources last year, and I will share more personally later on. And he's also a professor in the Chinese University of Hong Kong. He teaches master students on how to make good use of e-resources in English lessons. And the last one is Dr. Timothy Taylor. He's the lecturer of the e-learning course. I went for 5 days at the Education University of Hong Kong, and most of the e-resources, the platforms that I will introduce you today, I've learned from Dr. Timothy Taylor. So let's have a look at the overview of the seminar today. We'll try to look at why we need to use e-resources in learning and teaching, and also to look at the changes in education paradigm from a global perspective. So global means global and local. And also from time to time, I'll test your understanding of my seminar by some e-learning platform. So if you want to get higher marks, you better pay more attention. And also, I would like to clarify that today we'll experience e-resources from a student's perspectives only due to the time constraint. So for how to make good use of these resources from a teacher's perspective in making teaching materials, we will leave the workshops later on throughout the years during meeting time to talk about in depth. So now let's try the first platform. Let's play a Kahoot quiz to see if you still remember who are the main speakers of today. So you can, if you have a QR code reader, you can try to scan this QR code. It will link you to kahoot.it. So when we talk about education, we need to first go down to the most fundamental question, which is, what is the purpose of education? So according to Ken Robinson, it is to prepare the next generation to thrive in their future, to prepare them for the challenges they will face in the future, and to bring better life for the human race in the future. However, according to Professor Linda Darling Hammond, who is the professor of education at Stanford University, and she's also the founding director of the National Commissions on Teaching and America's Future. She talked about that actually nowadays the schooling model is outdated. It's based on the skills we need in the past. So according to the top 3 skills required by the Fortune 500 companies, in 1970, the most required skills are reading, writing, and arithmetic. So that echoes with the subjects we have today that focuses on language and mathematics. But in 1999, it focuses more on teamwork, problem solving, and interpersonal skills. Hence, we have the education change to more project learning based, more collaboration among the students. But how about in our future? So these are 1970 and 1999, they're already the past. According to the World Economic Forum, by 2020, which is a very near future, there will be the fourth industrial revolution, in which industries based on artificial intelligence, 3D printing, and also biotechnology will dominate the future job markets, and it also changes the top skills required by the future job market. So skills such as creativity, critical thinking, and complex problem solving, these higher order thinking skills will be the most wanted skills in our future job markets. But how does e-learning assist in nurturing students' higher order thinking? Now let's have a look at this video, The Flipped Class, Rethinking Space and Time, which may answer us this question. So besides nurturing students' higher order thinking skill, how does e-learning cater for individual differences? Now let us look at another video to see how this question is answered. Okay, so after these videos, now let's try a Socratic quiz to test our understanding from the previous few slides. Now, let us look at the e-learning development from a global perspective. Global meaning from both global and a local perspective. In the United States, the Obama government has joined Apple to start the Connect Ed initiative, in which they pledged $100 million of teaching and learning solutions. They've donated this money to 114 underserved schools for them to get iPads for every student, a Mac computer, and an iPad to every teacher, and also an Apple TV to every classroom. So this, beside the first world country, which get so many resources on the hardware, in some developing country, some education scientists are doing experiment on how to improve education for underserved students in these developing country. So an education scientist, Sugata Mitra, tried an experiment in the southern India, in which he installed a computer in the wall in different slums in India. These computers are connected to the internet. He just installed them in the wall and then just left and to observe what may happen with these children playing around with this installed computer on their own. And he found very amazing things happen, miraculous things happened, which is within hours, they know how to browse. Within days, they know how to play games, search information on the internet, and to record songs using these computers. And he also tried to test the limit of his experiment. So now let's look at this video to see what the result is.